DeAndre was my first child. He been with me a long, long time. And then to wake up like he did, he was so happy that morning. He took his medicine. He was telling jokes. Then 10 minutes later, he just passed out. Then it was the last words I ever heard my son say.
Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup. We're in front of Graphic Packaging International. It is a multi-billion-dollar packaging company, and here on the north side of Kalamazoo, they manufacture recyclable paperboard, basically recyclable cardboard. This paper mill has been releasing toxic levels of gas into the predominantly poor black north side community for decades. And the poor black community here is sick and dying as a result of this packaging company. And in 2022, with the help of the state of Michigan and Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer, this paper mill was able to expand. So now they're releasing even more levels of toxic gas into the community. Hey, it's Jordan. I'm in Kalamazoo in the north side neighborhood. We're a block away from Graphic Packaging, which is a multi-billion-dollar packaging company. It's releasing deadly levels of gas into this predominantly poor African-American community. And Deann, you've now tragically lost 2 children, and it sure seems that it's linked to what they're releasing there. You moved here, when did you move here?
I've been here about 7, 8 years now.
So before you moved here, your daughter at the time, your son, they were both healthy for the most part?
Yes, they were. They both were really healthy.
And you move here, we're a block away from the plant. The smell is horrible, and your daughter starts developing really bad asthma. And it got so bad after repeated attacks, after she's continually going to the hospital for breathing treatments. At 17 years old, what happened?
She passed away. She had been put on different machines, going into the hospital different times to see about her asthma, but the smell was getting worse, and I guess it was just making her really, really sick. Because most of her life, she couldn't even go outside because it smelled so bad outside. And she would always have an asthma attack. So the doctor told me that she was allergic to whatever was going on in the air.
And she had a severe attack that they couldn't do anything. She died.
Yeah, she had a severe attack. They couldn't even help her, and she just passed away.
And after that, you're not only dealing with the grief from that, but your son was getting sicker and sicker too. Before you moved here, you said he was super active?
Yes. Anybody know Berg, the boss, DeAndre? You couldn't stop him from going outside. He played football, he ran track, he played basketball. He was with all the neighborhood kids. They was just everywhere doing everything. He was taking trips, all kind of stuff. And then we moved over here, and it just got really, 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 really bad. This is when he passed out.
And it was getting so bad that I remember seeing pictures. He was on oxygen. Yeah. Wasn't he on life support for a while?
He was on life support. He was on 24-hour oxygen. He had to take asthma treatments, about 4 or 5 of them a day. My son went through a lot before he passed away from here. And the smell is just so horrific.
And it got a lot worse around 2022 because the plant expanded. With the help, by the way, of Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Her administration approved a bond deal for over $100 million that allowed the multi-billion-dollar packaging company emit a whole lot more toxic gas. So around 2022, you notice it's getting a lot worse, and you're smelling it, you're seeing it pretty much all the time?
Yes, sir. 24 hours a day. And it smells really bad. It smells like dead bodies, like poison. Like, I mean, I really just don't understand how you can see this stuff is killing us and nobody's willing to do anything. I have lost 2 kids from this. And it's like, don't nobody even really care.
And your son, he was on life support. He passed in January. How old was he?
My son was 32 years old. He passed January 24.
And you still don't know the full cause of death because they wouldn't help you with an autopsy or anything, the county?
No, we got in touch with, we talked to the county the night he passed. The guy gave us his number, the mortician. DeAndre dad called and called. We called and called. We emailed. DeAndre dad went there 2 or 3 times. We still haven't found out anything. Ain't nobody gave us no papers for anything.
But we know his health got horrible, and the decline happened when you moved here, and he was having asthma and all sorts of stuff related to the plant.
Yes, it got so bad over here for DeAndre that he couldn't even come outside. He stopped coming outside like maybe 2 years ago because the smell was really, really bad for him. He couldn't take it.
And throughout all this, your daughter, before she passed, you know, you were having to take her to the hospital weekly for breathing treatments. Your son, you were complaining, and other people in the community were complaining. Can you tell us, was the city getting back to you? Was the state getting back to you? Because you were reaching out about the smell, about the asthma. Kids can't play in the playground. Was anyone from government responding to you?
No one from the government responded to us. Like I said, they don't care. The only people that has been responding to us is you and the other guy I did the interview with. And y'all two like the only ones that really want to help us, but the governor don't even want to help us. And it's just sad. It's a shame. We are dying in this community every day with this asthma on top of asthma. Like my daughter's twin. She's been having asthma attacks almost every day. Sometimes twice a week she has to go to the hospital in an ambulance because her asthma is getting so bad. Especially them days when it smells really, really bad over here. Like a couple of days ago, like about 3 days ago. You came outside, boy, you would have thought it was over 1,000 animals out here killed somewhere. That's how bad it smelled. And give you headaches, make your eyes burn, make you start coughing. It's just really, really bad.
And what's really scary about that is, so your daughter who passed, she was a twin, and now her sister who's still alive, it seems to be the same story of your daughter who died. Your daughter who died, it got worse and worse. She was going for treatments weekly, and now your daughter who's still with us, she's having the same thing, having to go for treatments. So you must be worried.
I'm scared every day. Every day I be so scared for my baby, and she be, Mama, I can't breathe. And I'm talking about, you see her chest caving in, how she gasping for air. That's what makes me have to get on the phone and dial 911 to help her, because we can't even drive her to the hospital fast enough to get air into her. And then when they always come here, they have to work with her for about 20, 25 minutes to get her a little bit better so they can transport her to the hospital. It's just really, really bad.
And when you take her to the hospital, do the doctors say anything about the plant? Are they aware that the plant's releasing all this gas into the community? I mean, there was a health study done. The health department found that they were releasing hazardous levels of hydrogen sulfide, yet nothing's been done. Does the hospitals acknowledge that it's coming from there?
They just say wherever she be at, she shouldn't be there because it's really bad on her asthma. And the only place she be is here at home. And coming outside to go somewhere.
How old is she?
My daughter is 27.
And to be clear, this is a poor community. I'm sure if you wanted to move, you would, but I assume that's not possible for you.
No. If I could find a house, I would move today and be gone. But it's so hard to find housing. Yeah.
So, 17-year-old daughter tragically dies, 32-year-old son tragically dies. The common denominator, they were healthy before you moved a block away from this plant. And your 26-year-old daughter now is really sick. And you've been having major health problems too. You've been hospitalized too.
Yeah, I've been having asthma attacks on top of asthma attacks now. They got me on 2 inhalers. I'm on the highest inhaler they got for asthma. It's called Trilogy. And I'm also on Prevento. And about 4 pills, asthma pills, that I have to take every day. Some of the pills I have to take more than once a day.
And can you talk about, I'm sure you saw that after the health study came out where they found that the plant was releasing hazardous levels of gas, it seems the health department's recommendation was close your windows and stay inside.
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
That made me mad. That made me really, really mad because how you just, it's 80, 90, 100 degrees out here. How you just gonna tell us to go inside and close our windows? How are we gonna do that? What if we can't afford air conditioner? How is we gonna go inside and close our doors? We supposed to be able to come out into the community, take a breath of fresh air, and continue living our life, but we can't do that over here. And once again, like I say, it don't nobody care. I done lost 2 kids now, and I just feel numb inside. A lot of people tell me, you're a strong woman. But every day, y'all just don't know how bad I really want to give up. To lose 2 kids, a mother should never have to lose 2 kids like this.
I guess you kind of feel like a part of you is gone?
Yeah, a large chunk of me is gone. Like I say, I really feel empty inside. Especially DeAndre. DeAndre was my first child. He been with me a long, long time. And then to wake up like he did, he was so happy that morning. He took his medicine. He was telling jokes. Then 10 minutes later, he just passed out. Then it was the last words I ever heard my son say. But every morning, he always started off screaming as loud as he can, which it wasn't really loud. The house be so quiet. He said, "Mama, I love you. No matter what happens to me, Mama, please don't stop fighting for us. I just miss my son."
And you know, we're about a couple of weeks from the election, and that's all anyone's talking about. But these stories aren't getting any attention. The media here isn't doing much about this. When the media reports on it, it just seems like they reprint whatever graphic packaging says or the state health department says, but they're not going around talking to people in the community. I'm sure other people here, your neighbors, I'm sure, smell it. A lot of people have asthma in this community, COPD.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people do. And then what's so sad is Metro bus in the mall, The mall sued Metro Bus $1 point some million for them using a parking spot, getting picked up there at the mall. All that money to the bus station for just picking people up there. And they ain't gave two thoughts about me or my kids. Let's know me and my kids, but the other people in the community. Someone else in the community that lost someone. They not care. They don't care at all.
I mean, the obvious thing, this is a black community. Do you feel like they've just kind of decided that certain folks are expendable to benefit the company there?
Yeah, I do. I feel, once again, like I said, this is a black community, and there's a lot of racism going on because they're not trying to help. They're not trying to hear us. They don't come out. They can come out and see for themselves. They can do a rally in this big park across the street. It's sad it's a park across the street, and kids can't even go over there and play. Half of my grandkids, my younger grandkids, go to Lincoln Elementary School, which is like 2 blocks from here. Some days they can't even go outside for recess because it's so bad.
And they also have a daycare center around here,
Yes,
very close.
They have 2 of them. They have 2 daycare centers around here, and what is they supposed to do? They can't take the kids to the park because they might get poisoned. Anything can be going on. We really don't know what's going on around here. We just know it smells really bad, like sulfur, and then it burns your eyes. You be coughing, your throat burning. You can hardly breathe. I just want justice for us, the people that really needs it. We just really need someone to step up and speak up on our behalf.
And after this health study came out, did anybody from the environmental department, the health department, the local health department, did anybody try to contact you or other people in the community to ask you about, this, ask you how bad it is, ask you about your health symptoms, take a survey of health symptoms? Was there any communication other than I saw a town hall, but did any of the government come into the community to see what people's health issues are?
No, did nobody come into the community to see what our health issues were. They not coming. They don't care. They don't care if we live or die. That's how I feel.
And I don't know if you've heard, but the governor was rumored for a while to possibly be a presidential contender, either this time or in a couple years. Gretchen Whitmer, she, even despite all the complaints, a few years ago, her administration helped them finance expansion. Do you think she knows about your story? Even if she did, do you think she would do anything to make this plant, at the very least, meet environmental regulations and not release excess levels of toxic? Do you think she would try to step in if she knew about this?
Well, me personally, I think she on a payroll or something, because this has been all over. Everybody has been talking about. They had a big meeting at the school, at the church over here, where people could come out and speak and air their emotions. And it wasn't just white. It just wasn't just black from the north side. It was white people from the west side. It was white people from the east side. Just like it was black people from the west side, the north side, the east side. We all human beings, whether we're black or white. Something needs to be done about this. And then they made it so bad that they was having the meetings and they was letting us call in. They stopped that. We can't even call in and give them none of our suggestions or tell them how we feel or anything. They just stopped that. What if that was a good thing for the ones that wasn't able to get up and go out there to a meeting? And the only way they can call, the only way they can air what they want to be heard is over the phone. But now you can't even do that because they stopped all of that. Yeah. And then, like I said, that number that they gave us to call, oh, if it's anything that's wrong and the smell, make sure you call this number right away. And they ask you for your address, your phone number, all this stuff that you have to give them, and they still don't come out. And then when he come out 2 or 3 days later, he come out, he get outside his car, he stand right here in the street and spin around and say, oh, I don't smell anything. Get back in his car and go on back to his little fancy house. And that's how it be.
You know, I've heard that from other people that then the environmental officials, they're not coming out here with equipment to test. They're literally doing smell tests. Yes. And that just because you don't smell something at any given time doesn't mean that they're not releasing toxic levels of gas. So they're not even doing real scientific testing to see what's being released.
Nope. Because I come out here and smell it. Okay, y'all poisonous. So now what? But like I said, they don't come to 3 or 4 days later after you done called them. And it might be a day like this. Like this morning it smelled really bad. Now it's like, because ain't no there's smoke blowing or anything like that, you really don't smell it. You smell something a little, but you don't smell it the way you normally would smell it every day. Right. Like I said, I just want justice for my kids.
Let me ask you, I mean, the mental toll that this is taking, 2 kids, another one sick that's still alive, you could barely get around because you're so sick. I mean, do you kind of feel like a prisoner in your own home?
Yes, I do. And then it just ain't the 2 kids I lost plus the one I have here. I also have another son and daughter, but my daughter is all right because she lived deep west. And she hardly comes over here. I always have to go to her because they don't want to smell the smell that's over here. But my son, he's 30 years old, and he's been healthy his whole life. Everybody know Benjamin, and he been like my daughter. He's been having asthma attacks on top of asthma attacks on top of asthma attacks. And he like, Mama, what's really going on? Because he's the smaller one in the family, so he always just been a runner. If he had to go to the store, he run into the store. He running this way, he running this way. Now it's to the point where, Mama, you got an asthma pump? Because I can't breathe, especially when he come over here to visit me. He still lives on the north side, but he lives a couple of blocks away. But when he come over here, it's like his asthma just got really severe just all of a sudden. I have to give him some of my asthma medicine so he can be all right.
Why do you think the government, local, state, why do you think the EPA knows about this too? Federal government knows about it too. Why do you think that they would allow this company to, it seems, poison this community? I mean, why would they allow that?
I don't know. Maybe they want the poison to kill everybody off around here so they can build new houses and bring in new development, the stuff that they trying to do around here. They spending all this money on tearing some of these streets up that don't even need to be tore up, or putting them medias in, or them roundabouts, when they should be helping us civilians, even to the homeless. Y'all letting these people sleep out here in the cold, the snow, the rain, the heat, and they not even really trying to do anything about that. So if they not trying to do anything about priority, which is housing, then I know they not going to do anything about us. That's just how I feel.
My last question, if for whatever reason we could get this in front of the governor, what would be your message to Governor Whitmer, who again, her administration approved a $125 million bond deal that allowed this company that's poisoning this community to expand in 2022. Her administration has also given them a lot of tax breaks. What would be your message to her?
Please help us. We begging you. Don't let us die like this. Don't let the new kids coming up die like this. I want to at least see my oldest grandson graduate and go to college, but I've been so sick and having all these asthma attacks, and I'm 50 myself. So I don't know how much longer I got, but from living around here, taking in all this disease, all these odors, it's not good. I'm just saying, please help us.
And how many people do you know in this part of the community that are suffering with the same things?
Oh my God. Let's see, I know about maybe 15 people on this street. On Eltworth Street, I probably know about 10 to 15 on that street. Clay, Proudy. It's bad around here for everybody. It's like the whole community is just doing really bad. Like the last time I seen the guy, the other newsman that did the interview, he did an interview of a lady that was like 80 years old. She said she has been smelling this smell since she was about 25 years old, living in the same house. She's always complained. And Graphic Packaging is in her backyard. See, I'm 2 streets over from them. She right there by Graphic Packaging. And she said she's been complaining her whole life. Been fighting her whole life. And no one has ever done anything about it.
That's 50 years.
Yeah.
25 you said, and now she's 80.
Yeah.
It's over 50 years she's been complaining.
Yes, sir, she have. And she still said when she did that interview that she's been complaining, she's been calling. She was one of the people before she got too old to really come out the house, was one of the ones at all the meetings complaining about this and complaining about that. And they still haven't did anything about it. Like I said, I don't want to die this early. I ain't but 50 years old. I at least want to see my oldest grandson, if not the rest of them, but him graduate and go to college. And they making it pretty hard over here with all of this toxic that they putting out, and we assuming it into our body every day.
I guess in a lot of ways, each day you don't know what's going to happen. If somebody else is going to suddenly stop breathing, if you're going to stop breathing.
Yeah, it's scary, especially for, like I say, my daughter that passed, her twin. It's really scary for her to see her, how she fight and how she gasps for air. And then some days she go to the hospital, they keep her 3 or 4 days until they finally got her back almost normal. And then she come out the hospital and come back home and had a severe asthma attacks all over again. A couple of times she done got out, she done been in the hospital for 2 or 3, 4 days at the most, and get all the way here home and got to go all the way back because she having severe asthma attacks all over again. It's really sad.
Well, I'm glad we spoke again, and I'll stay on this, and I hope you got to also beg the media to start doing their job. I mean, where's the local media? You could just knock on people's doors. This is an urgent health hazard. The few stories I've seen have basically just been reprinting what the company says and what the health department says.
Yeah.
But very little, as you said, other than there's only one other media person that spoke with you?
Yep, it's just you and another guy that spoke with us, and he really cared. Like, When my son died, he came over, he gave me his condolences, but he did the balloon release because it was, oh my God. This whole park was packed with none but people here for my son's balloon release, and I really appreciate Kalamazoo the way they came out. It was even people that didn't even know me, but because they had seen us on the news, they came to show their support to us. I really appreciate that. Yep, and then he calls me a lot, and he check on me, ask me how I'm doing, have things got better, have anybody been over here to talk to me, some of the questions that you asking me. He does that a lot, and I really appreciate him.